The AAP, which if you don't know what that means, that's the Attraction Assistance Pass that Universal Studios has for Halloween Horror Nights and other attractions. Basically, if you have a disability and you have an issue with long lines, stuff like that, in a wheelchair, missing a leg or something like that, you can apply for the AAP pass, and they put you in a separate section, and then they'll bring you in they bring in a group from time to time. Well, apparently the people that have applied for the pass that have high anxiety and feel that according to their high anxiety, they cannot wait in lines to go to a haunted house. They're very upset with Universal because of the anxiety waiting area. So what happens is if you have this pass, you go there, they're like, listen, I have an AAP pass. This is my disability. And so they, if you're on a special wheelchair, they put you in a section. If you're somewhere else, these are the people that are complaining, like where they had to wait until Universal came and got them so they could go through the haunted houses. This person here, she was very upset. And she's like, the AAP has become discriminatory. I had a supervisor. Yes, a supervisor at Halloween Horror Nights questioned my disability, what my disability was, and then proceeded to have me describe it to them, triggering a panic attack. The system needs to be fixed, and the TMs need to be trained better. Of course, Universal reaches out. Every white woman is saying, I'm so sorry that happened to you. And yeah, it happened to me. But if you go on and on, people are just very upset about how horrible they're treating people with anxiety, things like that. This person is upset that people like me, and it's just a general question, are upset. Like, if you have bad anxiety, why are you going to Halloween Horror Nights? They say people like me, we're missing the point. It's insulting and exhausting for people to ask them, why would you go to a horror, and be scared and all that if you're dealing with high anxiety? But according to them and the things that we've been looking at, their anxiety deals with waiting in long lines.
Yeah, guess what? I get that too. I don't like waiting in long lines for rides. Weird how that works, isn't it? I get so anxious because I don't like waiting. I'm going to be real, Jay. I hate these people. You know why? They think the entire world needs to morph around them and bend around them because of these perceived problems that they have. And you know what? Some people do actually have things to deal with, and that sucks. Life isn't fair. Sometimes you have to overcome those obstacles, and sometimes those obstacles are too much for you to overcome, and you don't get to be a part of something. You don't get to do something because you can't overcome it. I am so sick of people like this that complain about this. You know what? I don't like waiting 2 hours in line to go on Hagrid's motor car. It sucks. I hate having to wait. I hate having to do that. It sucks. It's not fun. But you know what? You do it because that's the price of getting on the ride. You want all of this special treatment. You don't want to have to prove that you have this disability. You don't want to prove anything. And you sit there and you moan and you complain. I'm going to complain too, but at least I'm actually going to go through it. These people make me absolutely disgusted. I know people that have anxiety. I know people that deal with stuff. I know people that have problems. But you know what? If they want to partake in something, if they want to go out, they overcome that stuff and they go out there. They don't sit in these lines and, complain about being dehumanized when you're just trying to not wait in line, when you can't handle it. I hate these people.
I agree. If you have high anxiety, I'm like, going into a haunted house really the right thing for someone with high anxiety? But it's basically, it feels like you guys just want to skip the line and you just don't have the patience to wait for your prize at the end.
That is nuts, right? The idea that I only have anxiety when I have to wait 30 minutes in line, nothing else. That's what it's like. Not everybody's going to be able to do everything.
That's
true. If you let yourself get so incredibly fat that you can't fit on a ride, I'm sorry, but that experience, you're not able to go on that experience. If you have something that's not incredibly wrong with you and you can't handle this ride, you expect the entire world to change just to accommodate you. Why don't you overcome a little bit And why don't you power through if you want to do these things? And if you don't want to power through, if you don't want to have to do that, because I don't want to have to drive 45 minutes to go to Universal. I don't want to have to park. I don't have to walk. There's a lot of things that I do that I don't necessarily want to do in order to go take part in events like these. But I don't.
I think it's because we live in a, we live in this this time period where it is very like no matter what size you are or what you're dealing with, they go out of their way in this country to try to accommodate you. This is an old article, but the Tron ride that is in other theme parks, not in America, they don't do this, but they do this in America. Disney's large guest seat on the Tron coaster stirs controversy, whether it's size exclusive. This came out in 2023. So on this roller coaster where you're supposed to be on a motorcycle, on a Tron bike that goes very fast, the larger people were like, not us large and in charge people are going to fit on that. So what they did was in the back of the ride, they put in these big tub seats so you could sit and ride it. And so you're sitting like you're in a recliner, not in the motorcycle style as it would be like you're riding the Tron bike from the movie. So if you're too big, you can get in the special line. And believe me, I've seen that line if you can't fit in the light bike. Yeah, so when you constantly accommodate people to try to make sure everybody can, then nothing is special. And you're going to get to this point where you just can't accommodate everyone. And now they're going to be upset and be all angry and, make you look, oh, here we go. This is what it looks like. You can see right here. That's so that these are all like motorcycle styles. You lean in.
I heard that ride is it's really quick, but it's fun. Like it goes fast.
It's pretty
leaning
fun.
over
and
a motorcycle
there's the tub ride. There's
really
the tub
fun.
seat in the back.
And they're like, is it really size inclusive? Because you don't get the same experience as everyone else.
Yeah.
Hey, you can't fit your gut down there. What are you supposed to do?
I will say this. The large and in charge crowd did go after Universal for their Mario Kart ride because they couldn't fit in it. And Universal says, we're not changing the seats. So they're like, we're sorry, we're not changing the seats to the ride to accommodate. The seats are that size for safety reasons. So we're not gonna accommodate.
And to be honest, because of like the deal they have with Nintendo, when like Nintendo has final say and all that, who knows if they even have the capability of doing it.
That's true too.
When it comes to that specifically.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna keep an eye on like these APP people and see if like Universal changes or they're just gonna cry online the whole time. I know several people are asking after a full day, they've asked for a full refund because of and I'm curious to see if these people actually get a full refund after spending the whole day there at Halloween or whole night at Halloween Horror Nights.
It's just so wild because look, there are people out there that actually do have panic attacks. Actually, like the idea that these people with crippling anxiety that only just happens to relate to having to wait in lines, but not go through a haunted house when you're getting scared out of you and everything, which is still in a crowded environment when you're still in a line. Like, it's wild. Pieces of trash.